Hello my dear students, welcome back to my channel. Today's topic, I'll be discussing about RNA interference technique. This is a technique involved, it is applied in biotechnology to produce pest resistant plants, and the technique explained by taking an example of a nematode called Meleidogyne in Cognitia. So in this nematode, the technique of what is RNA interference is explained, and this nematode infects the roots of tobacco plant and reducing its yield. So in order to produce a pest resistant plant, a novel strategy is adopted. A very different technique is adopted to prevent this infestation or this disease. And this technique is based on what is called as an RNA interference. So what is done here basically is the mRNA which is produced by the nematode will produce some type of mRNA, and this mRNA will produce a toxin that will actually cause the disease. So how disease is caused, basically we can understand through nematode is, a nematode will have, I'll explain it separately, a nematode will have its own DNA. A nematode will have its own DNA, and this DNA of nematode will produce an mRNA, and the process by which the mRNA is produced, this technique, all of you know, this is called as transcription. So by transcription, a nematode will produce its own mRNA, and this mRNA produced by nematode will start producing a particular protein. This is by translation. This is what is we also call a central dogma of molecular biology. And this protein can act as a toxic substance. It can act as a toxin, and then it causes the disease. The main purpose of this technique is to make this mRNA of nematode non-functional so that it cannot produce any protein and cause the disease. This is the main purpose of RNA interference technique. That is, the technique interferes with the functioning of mRNA produced by nematode. This mRNA, we also call it as target mRNA. This mRNA is targeted so that its function is inhibited or silencing. This technique is also called as silencing of RNA. Silencing of which RNA? Silencing of mRNA produced by the nematode. Now, let us go through the technique. So, this technique, it takes place in all eukaryotes as a method of cellular defense. RNA interference technique we find in all eukaryotes, so that it protects the body. It acts as a cellular defense mechanism. And this was first studied by two scientists, Andrew Fire and Craig Mello, in a nematode called Caenorhabditis elegans. Caenorhabditis elegans. It was first studied in this particular nematode. Now let us see what exactly is the technique and what is the source of this complementary RNA. A complementary RNA must be present in order to make the target mRNA non-functional. What is target mRNA? The mRNA produced by the nematode, that we are calling it as a target mRNA. Now, what should be the source of this complementary RNA which is used for RNA interference? The source can be through viruses having RNA genome. Source of complementary RNA is viruses having RNA genome, or through transposons. These will replicate via RNA intermediate. That means they produce RNA, and then through RNA they start replicating. So now let us see what is the mechanism of RNA interference. So here we are going to discuss about three methods how the RNA interference can take place. Three methods are: first, due to viral infection. Viral infection means if the host has any other viruses infecting. Like for example, here the host plant is a tobacco plant. Suppose tobacco plant is infected by any other virus, then this viral infection can act as a cellular defense mechanism where this RNA interference can function. That is viral infection. Viruses always may not be present. Viral infection always may not be present. In that case, the second method called by presence of transposons. I'll give you a brief introduction of what are transposons when I discuss the method. And the third method which we discuss is a laboratory method, that is by rDNA technology. So in these three ways, RNA interference technique can be understood. So first we will start with during viral infection. Viruses having RNA as a genome. Suppose during viral infection, double-stranded RNA is the genome of the virus, genetic material of the virus. This double-stranded RNA can enter into cytoplasm of the host cell. Here host, we are taking the host as the tobacco plant. That is the host plant. So this viral DNA, double-stranded DNA, enters into the cytoplasm of the host plant. And here this double-stranded RNA is acted upon by a ribonuclease, a protein, that is ribonuclease. Ribonuclease is the enzyme which can break RNA. This enzyme, this protein or this enzyme, this protein, this is called as a dicer. Dicing means something breaking. So this double-stranded RNA of the virus broken down into small fragments. These are called as siRNA, small interfering RNA. siRNA means small interfering RNA. Now, these fragments, out of these, any one or more fragments can also function. So we take just say one fragment. First, the two strands will separate. This double-stranded RNA fragment, two strands will separate. 5' to 3' strand is named as passenger strand. 3' to 5', this is called as a guide strand. Now, the passenger strand will not further take part. It will simply degenerate. And this guide strand will further take part. That is, the guide strand, which is in this direction 3' to 5', will combine with another complex, another protein, which is called as RISC. RISC. This RISC stands for RNA interfering, RNA induced silencing complex. RNA induced silencing complex. That is called RISC. So this RISC will combine with the guide strand, which is separated, to form a complex. This complex binds with the target mRNA. I told you target mRNA is produced by the nematode by transcription process. So this target mRNA, when it binds to the complex, it simply loses its function. It becomes a double-stranded and it loses its function. And thus, this mRNA is made non-functional. This is the mechanism if there is a viral infection. Now, let us see the second method. Second method is by the presence of transposons. Transposons are present in every individual, all organisms. It is found in eukaryotes and prokaryotes also. Some bacteria, it is found that there are transposons present. So what are these transposons are? They are mobile genetic elements. They can change their positions within the genome. They can change their positions. So therefore these are also called as jumping genes. They are also called as jumping genes. These jumping genes were first identified by the scientist. They were first identified by the scientist Barbara McClintock. She is a lady who got the Nobel Prize for this, called as Barbara McClintock. She is called as a Barbara McClintock, who studied in maize. This lady studied in maize and then she was awarded Nobel Prize. And later it is found in all the organisms. And the most important feature about transposons is they can create many mutations also. They can create many mutations also. And they are also found to be one of the reasons for causing cancers in humans. So because they can change their positions, they are found to cause mutations. And we know mutations are one of the causes of cancer. And thus they are involved in cancers also. Now, how this transposon can work as defense mechanism during this technique. So transposons will have a DNA, double-stranded DNA. And by transcription, it is going to produce first double-stranded RNA. Double-stranded DNA can produce double-stranded RNA by transcription. And of course here briefly what will happen, what you know, the process of transcription, which I am going to discuss in another video. So double-stranded RNA, one of the strand will help in formation of RNA, mRNA, then that can become again double-stranded and then it gives the double-stranded RNA. This double-stranded RNA, again the same steps will be followed like we have done in the previous method. Double-stranded RNA will be acted upon by dicer. Dicer, it is a ribonuclease, it breaks the RNA. So RNA is broken down into different fragments and one of the fragment can further function and its two strands are separated. 5' to 3' strand is called passenger and the other one is called as a guide strand. Guide strand can combine with a complex called RISC, RNA induced silencing complex. And this RISC combines with this to form a complete complex mRNA RISC silencing complex. And this combines with the target mRNA. Then completely this mRNA is silenced. This is with the help of transposons. Now there is another method, third method, which is by laboratory method, artificial method, by rDNA technology. Let us see how by rDNA technology the RNA interference can take place. So in this technique, what is done is a gene is introduced. A gene is introduced in such a way that it can produce, it has both sense and antisense strand. It can produce both sense and antisense strand. So here to make the mechanism clear, I have taken a sequence of nitrogen bases for nematode and for the gene introduced. So if we take for the nematode DNA, say I have taken a hypothetical sequence, a small fragment. So you can read it here, ACCTGGCGA, that is on 5' to 3' strand, that is called sense strand. The other one is antisense strand, which is TGGACCGCT. And you know very well, this antisense strand will produce mRNA. The sequence of mRNA should be exactly equal to sense strand, but in place of thymine there will be a uracil. This is the target mRNA produced by nematode. Now, we introduce gene in such a way that the sense strand of nematode is taken as antisense strand in the gene introduced. Sense strand of nematode is taken as antisense strand in the gene introduced. So here if we make this as antisense strand, we have to read it from 3' to 5'. So if we read from 3' to 5', we get this way: AGC, GG, T, CC, A. Now if we write complementary strand for sense strand, for this antisense, we get a sense strand also. The sequence will be TCG, CCA, GGT. So this is the gene introduced. Now from antisense strand, we know an mRNA is produced. Again, you know mRNA will have the same sequence as sense strand except for thymine. In place of thymine, there will be a uracil. So we get UCG, CCA, CCU. Now if you observe both these strands, the target mRNA and the mRNA which is introduced, which is synthesized from this introduced gene, we find these two will be complementary to each other. If you observe them and carefully and write it, you will find both will be complementary to each other. When two mRNA strands are complementary, they form double helix. And you know very well, a double helical RNA cannot function. So that's how RNA is made non-functional. This is what is called as RNA interference technique. So this is very, very important, children, from NEET point of view also. The most important is the examples you have to remember. And what is the source of complementary RNA? These questions can be asked. I hope it is very clear. And watch the video properly and make a note of it. And if you are watching for the first time my video, I want you people to subscribe so that whatever video I upload, you will get the notification immediately. And I think you have to also press the bell symbol. So I conclude it for here today. Thank you very much, children. Have a good day.